Under the dazzling lights of the Pulse studio, a renowned live talk show blending fierce political debates with vibrant entertainment, the atmosphere crackles like a battlefield. Karoline Leavitt, the youngest White House press secretary in history, at 27 sits upright. Her gaze sharp across from her is Samuel L. Jackson, the Hollywood star, with a confident smile and unmistakable charisma. The show promises an unrelenting TV showdown, and the audience holds its breath in anticipation before diving into the story. Comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest stories. Leavitt is here to defend President Donald Trump's controversial new tariff policy, which has sparked heated debate. Hollywood-led by voices like Jackson, has relentlessly attacked the White House on social media, calling Trump's policies an economic farce. The show's producers, sensing drama, invited Leavitt to face these criticisms head-on as Trump's mouthpiece. She knows this is a chance to squash doubts and assert the administration's strength. Leavitt prepared meticulously, armed with data and razor-sharp confidence, ready to turn the stage into her podium. Jackson, meanwhile, was invited to promote a new film. But everyone knows he can't resist slamming Trump. His recent tweets mocking Trump's golf game and politics made him the producer's pick to ignite controversy. With a biting quip about Trump's golf habits, he gets the audience roaring with laughter, but also heats up the room. Leavitt isn't just defending policy. She's defending the president, her mission, and millions who believe in them. Tonight, she'll face Jackson, and she's brought a media bombshell ready to detonate. The stage is set, and the battle has only begun. The studio lights flicker, reflecting off Samuel L. Jackson's confident grin as he lounges in the guest chair. The crowd, Hollywood fans and political junkies alike, buzzes with anticipation. The host, Marcus Tate, a middle-aged man with a smooth voice and a knack for stirring controversy, kicks off with a softball. "Samuel, what do you do to unwind between those intense action scenes?" Jackson raises an eyebrow, leaning forward, and the room already feels charged. "Unwind. I used to think golf was a good way," he says, his voice low and loaded. "But then I played with Donald Trump, and I realized golf with him is like watching a movie. He writes the script, keeps his own score, and always wins the audience." Erupts, some clapping, others shaking their heads in annoyance. Jackson doesn't stop. "I swear he hit the ball into the bushes and yelled, 'That's a great shot.' I'm standing there thinking, this guy runs the country." Tate laughs heartily, leaning toward Jackson. "So you're saying President Trump doesn't play fair on the golf course?" "Fair," Jackson repeats, feigning shock. "Marcus, he doesn't know what—" That word means I saw him tweet from the course, and guess what? He spelled golf as glow. The crowd roars again, laughter drowning out the show's background music. "I'm not lying. Check Twitter. If he hasn't deleted it, I bet he thinks spelling's a sport too, and he's the champ." Tate, seizing the moment, jumps in. "So what do you think of Trump? Off the golf course, I mean, you're not shy about speaking your mind, right?" Jackson shrugs, but his eyes gleam with mischief. "Look, Marcus, I've played plenty of villains, nasty, cunning guys. But Trump, he's like the star of a B movie. Nobody wants to watch bad script, bad effects, and a predictable ending, just misspelled tweets and bragging." He pauses, locking eyes with the audience. "Y'all see him call himself a stable genius. I'm telling you, the only thing stable is his ability to mess things up." The crowd splits sharply. Half laugh loudly, cheering Jackson's wit, while the other half boos a few, shouting, "Watch your mouth, Jackson." On the giant screen behind the stage, Twitter lights up. The hashtag Jackson roasts. Trump trends instantly with tweets like, "Samuel L. Jackson just roasted Trump live on the Pulse." And who needs movies when you've got this real-life drama, a meme? Spreads immediately. Trump golfing, captioned, "Golf the White House's new sport." Karoline Leavitt, seated opposite, keeps her face composed, but her hand grips the chair's edge tightly through her earpiece. Her comms team whispers, "Careful, Karoline, don't let him control the narrative." But Leavitt doesn't need the reminder. She's used to pressure. From tense press briefings to defending Trump against the media, Jackson may be a Hollywood legend, but she's the White House's voice, and she didn't come to lose. Each jab from Jackson only fuels her resolve. Tate, sensing the rising tension, turns. to Leavitt with a sly grin. Karoline, you've heard it all. Samuel's not holding back on the president want to respond before we move on. Jackson tilts his head, his eyes daring her. Leavitt takes a deep breath, her lips curling into a faint smile. She knows this isn't just a question, it's an invitation to step into the ring. Jackson landed the first punch, and it was sharp, bold, pure Hollywood, but Leavitt is ready. She's not just representing herself or Trump, she's standing for millions of Americans who believe in this administration. Karoline Leavitt sits steady in the guest chair, her eyes locked on Samuel L. Jackson, who just set the room ablaze with his jabs at President Donald Trump. Laughter and applause still echo in the studio, but the air has shifted to tense, as if everyone senses a storm brewing. Marcus Tate, the host with a flair for sparking drama, turns to Liv, his smile sly. Karoline Samuel just gave us a colorful take on President Trump from Gulf to Twitter. Care to share? Your perspective. Livid adjusts her mic, her lips forming a confident smile, sharp as a strategist ready to strike. Thank you, Marcus. She begins, her voice calm but laced with strength. I'm a big fan of Mr. Jackson. He's a master storyteller on screen. But when it comes to President Trump, I'm afraid his story is missing one thing. The truth. Jackson crosses his arms, smirking as if to say, go for it. Leavitt presses on, her voice growing crisper. Mr. Jackson wants us to laugh about golf and tweets, but I'm here to talk about what really matters to Americans. President Trump has brought back millions of jobs, cut taxes for families, and protected our economy from unfair competition. That's not a movie script, that's results millions are feeling. Tate, spotting an opening, asks, so you're saying what Samuel just shared is just entertainment? Yeah, not just entertainment. Marcus Leavitt replies, her eyes shifting to Jackson. It's a distraction. Mr. Jackson loves talking about BEM movie villains. But I'd ask, has he ever mentioned how many factories we've brought back to America, or how we're helping forgotten communities? I'm guessing not, because the truth doesn't make for Hollywood headlines. The crowd claps louder, especially those wearing pro-Trump slogan shirts. Jackson doesn't back down. Miss Leavitt, you talk a good game, he cuts in, his tone dripping with sarcasm. But Americans are also seeing prices skyrocket because of Trump's tariffs, right? Or are you too busy defending him to notice the grocery store laughter ripples from one corner of the audience? But Liv, doesn't flinch. She leans forward, her eyes locking onto Jackson. Mr. Jackson, I grew up in a working-class family. No privilege, no VIP seats. I know what prices mean to people, but I also know what's worse. Losing jobs, losing futures. The president's tariffs protect American workers. And I'm proud to stand with him to do that. If you want to talk groceries, talk to the people who got their jobs back because of us. The stage shakes with applause. A few standing to cheer. Jackson tries to jump in. You're good at speeches, but Trump's still the guy calling himself geniuses on Twitter. But Leavitt cuts him off, her voice slicing through like a blade. Genius or not. Mr. Jackson, Trump acts for the people while you're busy reading lines on a film set. We're rebuilding. The American dream, that's something you won't get from a luxury lounge. Tate, seeing the heat peak, laughs loudly. Wow, neither of you is backing down. Samuel want to counter, but Leavitt, not waiting for a reply, lands one final line like an arrow hitting the mark. Marcus, I'm not here to argue about tweets or golf. I'm here for the millions of Americans who believe in us.
Strong again, from the economy to the border, and you, who do you represent? Besides Hollywood elites, you live in mansions. Open, no restaurants, while I grew up in New Hampshire, in a middle-class family, knowing what Americans need. Who's really out? Of touch, the MAGA crowd leapt up, shouts of Karoline. Karoline echoing from every corner. Hannity laughed loudly, raising a hand as if to calm things down. But Leavitt wasn't finished. She stepped closer, pointing straight at Dyro. You mock my faith, say. I pray to cover for Trump. I pray for strength. Strength you don't understand, because you only play tough on screen. I don't need Oscars to prove myself. I've got the American people behind me. Applause now spread across the studio. Even some neutrals, nodding, swept up in her momentum. Darrow leaned back in his chair, hands trembling, his smug grin gone, replaced by rare unease. She leaned forward, voice low but clear through the mic. You want unedited truth. Here's the truth. Trump won. Because the people chose him, not you. I'm 27, but I've worked for him since college, from the White House to the campaign. I'm not a puppet. I'm a voice for millions. And you're done. Mr. Dyro, the Alto Knights lost $40 million. What standing do you have to talk about success or failure? Dyro shot up, pointing at her. You think you're clever, huh? I fought bigger than you my whole life. But his voice faltered, lacking conviction, and the crowd started whistling in mockery. Leavitt smiled faintly, eyes never leaving. Him fight who you want, but today you lost. I'm not here for your amusement. I'm here to show the country how wrong you are. She turned to the audience, raising a hand. Who agrees with me that Mr. Dyro should retire? The room exploded, clapping, cheering, and whistling blending into a victory symphony. Anity jumped up, clapping and laughing. Karoline, you just made this stage yours. Leavitt sat across from Dyro, legs crossed, gaze steady. He stared back, hands gripping the chair, face red as if slapped. You're good, he muttered. Just loud enough for the mic, but I'm not done. Leavitt shrugged, replying, Neither am I, Mr. Dyro. Ask away if you dare. The clip of Leavitt playing the old video and her. Your done line hit the web instantly via Fox News' team. Within seconds, Nyagrel Leavitt fees. Dyro rocketed on ex-viewers at home, sharing it frantically. Dyro sat there, eyes darkening, clearly blindsided by the counterpunch. Leavitt, with Fox News sharpness and Trump loyalty, had turned his attack into her springboard. This wasn't just a comeback. It was peak destruction, and the nation watched a Gen Z star take down a Hollywood legend live on air. Robert Darrow sat across, hands clenched on the chair's arms, face flushed as if his 81-year reputation had been slapped. His eyes darkened. Smug grin gone, replaced by anger mixed. With confusion, Leavitt had turned him from Hollywood icon to punchline, you're done. You live in luxury mansions, each word a knife to his pride. Shan Hannity, still between them, laughed loudly. Bob got anything to say, she just lit this studio up. But Dyro didn't laugh. He took a deep breath, stood pointing straight at Leavitt, voice trembling but trying to stay steely. You think you're so smart, kid? He growled, his deep Goodfellas tone now tinged with strain. You dare stand here in front of me, using old clips to lecture me. Who do you think you are to say I'm done? The room hushed for a moment, awaiting a sharp comeback, but his words lacked their usual punch. Leavitt sat there, legs crossed, gaze unflinching. You're Trump's puppet. I was right. Dyro pressed on, hand raised like he was on a Broadway stage. You're 27, haven't lived enough to know what's what, and you dare come on Fox News to teach me about truth. I've seen guys like Trump, he's a menace and you're just his megaphone. Mocking. Whistles rose from the MAGA side, a few yelling, Sit down, Bob! Dyro spun toward them, eyes blazing. You want me quiet. I won't shut up, I'm here for the truth. Trump's unfit and so is she. But his voice wavered unconvincing and laughter broke out. Hannity, cut in hand, up to ease the tension. Bob, cool it! She brought receipts. Stand there representing the White House and say it's fine to let people be misled. I can't accept that. The room erupted in murmurs. The audience leaned forward. Reporters scribbled frantically. Few Democratic lawmakers nodded in approval. Lead didn't. Blink! She looked at COCET, her gaze sharp but devoid of hostility. Congresswoman Crockett. She said, her voice lower, firmer. You keep talking about people being misled, but who's really trying to impose their thoughts on others? We let people think. For themselves, you want the White House to censor every word to fit your narrative. Is that freedom in your eyes? Crockett was livid. Don't twist my words, she screamed, her face burning red. I don't want censorship, I want you to be accountable. Those lies have consequences. People die, communities fall apart, and you just shrug and say that's democracy. You think you're so clever, but I see it. You're hiding behind freedom to protect Trump. Live. It pulled the microphone closer, her voice still. Even but, sharp as a knife, Congresswoman Crockett. I'm not hiding behind anything. I'm standing here in front of you, in front of this nation. But if you want to talk about consequences, look at yourself. You want to control the narrative. Decide who gets to speak and who doesn't. That's not protection. That's power. And maybe your problem isn't the lies. but that you can't control the story anymore. The words were like a slow, burning bomb. The room fell silent, only Crockett's ragged breathing. Audible through the mic, her eyes widened, her face froze for a moment, then exploded control. She roared her voice, breaking her hand, pointing at Leavitt as if she might charge you. Dare say I want control. You're gaslighting this entire Congress. I'm fighting for truth for the people. And you let Trump and his MAGA crowd sow chaos, then stand there pretending to be noble. Who are you to say I've lost control? Livid. Looked at Crockett, a flicker of curiosity in her eyes, then leaned into the... Hey, Mike, I didn't say you've lost control, Congresswoman Crockett, she said, her voice low but clear. I said, you don't control the narrative anymore, and that scares you. You yell, you bang the table, but the people still speak, and we still let them. You want to change that? Go ahead and try. She paused, letting the words hang, then sat back, hands lightly clasped as if nothing had happened. That was the final straw. Crockett lost it completely. She shot up her chair, scraping back with a screech, her hand slamming the table again. Try, I won't just try, I'll make you pay, she screamed, her voice shaking with uncontrollable rage. You think you're so smart sitting there with that cool act. But I won't let you dodge this. The people deserve the truth, not lies from Trump's mouthpiece. The microphone trembled with every word. Her face flushed, her eyes wild, as if she might leap across the witness table. The murmurs in the room turned into a roar, the audience whispering, some shouting in agreement. Democratic. Lawmakers clapped sporadically while Republicans shook their heads, a few smirking. The chairman pounded his gavel relentlessly. Order now. But no one listened. Lit sat still, not smiling, not moving. Just watching Crockett with an eerie calm. Leavitt's voice was low but clear. You want the truth? The truth is the people are still speaking and you can't stop them. The words were a final dagger. Crockett screamed, You're manipulating all of us! But her voice drowned in the chairman's gavel and the noise from the stands. The chairman pounded his gavel relentlessly. I demand order immediately, but his voice was swallowed by the storm of reactions. The hearing room turned into a sea of noise. No longer murmurs, but chaotic clamor. The audience leaned forward. Some standing reporters, scribbling madly, cameras whipping between the two women to catch every second. Crockett looked like she wanted to lunge across the witness table at Leavitt, but she didn't move, just stood there, staring at her opponent. With uncontainable fury, Ann had whispered something, touching her shoulder. But Crockett brushed them off her eyes. Never. Head microphone down. He forces a weak smile, but his eyes betray defeat. Leavitt can't stay still. She steps out from backstage. The lights catching her gray suit. Nicholas Riccio stands beside Karoline. Leavitt on stage, their hands clasped tightly, their eyes sharing a deep understanding just minutes ago. Riccio, the quiet man, stunned the room with his defense of his wife, against James Whittaker's mockery. Whittaker now at the stage's edge, head bowed, his strained smile failing to hide his unease. The microphone in his hand hangs low, as if he knows he's lost. Not in a policy debate, but in a moment of honesty and humanity. The audience, from business people to journalists, still stands, clapping, some wiping tears, moved by Riccio's sincerity. The host, a middle-aged woman in a red suit, hurries up, trying to restore the conference's rhythm. Thank you, Mr. Riccio. Thank you, Miss Leavitt. She says, her voice slightly shaky from the charged atmosphere. And thank you, Mr. Whittaker, for your perspectives. The word perspectives draws a few chuckles like a gentle jab. She quickly moves to the next speaker, but no one really listens. Journalists in the front row are already sending reports, their phones glowing with draft headlines. Real estate entrepreneur silences room defending press secretary. And unexpected showdown at New Hampshire Economic Conference. Cameras still track Riccio and Leavitt as they leave the stage, hand in hand, the lights framing them like a couple emerging from a victory without weapons. Backstage, Leavitt hugs Riccio tightly, her head against his chest. Thank you, Nick, she whispers, her voice choked. I didn't know you'd do that. Riccio smiles for the first time since stepping on stage, his eyes gentle but resolute. I couldn't let them hurt you, he says, his hands softly touching her cheek. Never. They stand. There a moment in a quiet corner of the auditorium, the audience's applause still echoing. Affirming the moment just past, Leavitt wipes a tear. Her smile returning. "We have to keep going," she says, her voice regaining strength. Rico nods, squeezing her hand together, he replies. Meanwhile, Whitaker exits through a side door, avoiding curious glances. He mutters to his assistant, a young man in a grey suit. "I didn't expect him to do that. Who is he?" The assistant shakes his head, checking his phone where ex-posts are already spreading. Whitaker, though trying to stay composed, is visibly shaken. He'd planned his speech as a political jab, bolstering his image as a liberal challenging power. But Riccio's response flipped everything. He sits in a waiting room corner, scrolling notifications, his face darkening at unflattering comments. The auditorium, though now on a new speaker, remains abuzz. An audience member, a middle-aged woman, in a green sweater, recorded Riccio's speech on her phone. She posts the video to X with the caption, "The quiet husband who silenced a conference. This is real respect." The video spreads fast, hitting thousands of views in minutes, then millions in an hour. Comments flood in. Riccio spoke for everyone misjudged, and Whitaker thought he was clever, but he made a huge mistake. But there are dissenting voices. Riccio's just defending Trump through his wife, or Whitaker's right. Leavitt's not qualified. The polarization on X mirrors. America today, a place where one emotional moment can divide or unite. Journalists at the conference seize the moment. A New Hampshire Union Leader reporter files the first story headlined, "Hampton Beach Showdown Entrepreneur Defends Press Secretary Against Liberal Businessman." Major networks like Fox News and CNN jump. In citing the X video, Fox calls Riccio a quiet hero, while CNN focuses on the event's political tension. But both acknowledge the power of Riccio's speech. A CNN commentator even says Whitaker may be right on policy, but he lost on morals. X posts explode with hashtags #Riccio speaks and #Hampton Beach moment trending top in the auditorium. Some attendees start leaving, but Riccio's story dominates. Talk. A local businessman in a leather jacket tells his friend, "I don't care who he supports. He spoke truth and lesson." A commentator praised Leavitt is MAGA's future, sharp, unrelenting. They called Fox's *SNL* bit a late-night clown show emphasizing his crushing defeat. CNN and MSNBC criticized Leavitt, calling her Obama accusations baseless. In MAGA tactics, a CNN journalist wrote, "Leavitt played dirty, but Fox wasn't sharp enough to counter. Still, they admitted Leavitt owned the debate. Fox just got mad." A late-night shows, like Jimmy Kimmel backed Fox, but joked, "Jamie, you're funny, but Karoline's a machine." Trevor Noah on The Daily Show said Fox gave it his all, but Liv ripped him to shreds on the R-conservative. Subreddit users called Leavitt an American hero, posting videos of her dismantling Fox, commenting, "Karoline is Hollywood's nightmare." Conversely, Our Politics praised Fox for taking on MAGA, but admitted Leavitt won because she was more aggressive. On X, conservative posts, like Leavitt crushed Fox with the truth, garnered thousands of likes, while Fox's fans' posts, "Jaime is an SNL legend," received only tepid support. An X-commentator wrote, "Fox has charisma, but Liv knows how to win. She's a debate master." In public, reactions were equally divided. At conservative gatherings in Texas, attendees held signs reading "Karoline Mega Queen," cheering her for defeating Hollywood. A group rewatched the hot seat roaring when Leavitt said, "You're done, Jaime." Meanwhile, Obama fans in California held events screening the SNL clip calling Fox a defender of justice, but they also conceded Jaime lost because he let emotions take over. Online Twitter polls showed 70% of viewers picked Leavitt is the winner with only 20% backing. Fox One user summed it up, "Fox is funny, but Karoline is a debate machine. No one can match her." Leavitt, not responding to the SNL performance, let conservative media handle it. She appeared at an Arizona event greeted like a star with the crowd chanting, "Karoline, Karoline." She smiled, saying briefly, "Americans want the truth, and I'm here to speak for them." Conservatives turned her into an icon with posts calling her the Hollywood Slayer. Fox, scrolling X, in his studio saw memes of Leavitt's victory, gritting his teeth. "They think I'm done. I'll be back." He saved posts praising her, vowing to prepare. Better Barack Obama, typically reserved amid controversy, posted a brief X message. "Thank you to those defending truth and justice. We're stronger united." The post drew millions of likes, especially from progressive fans and Fox supporters. One user wrote, "Obama's still an icon, Karoline can't compare." Fox's fans shared the post alongside SNL clips, commenting, "Jaime fought for Obama, maggots lost." But Obama's post, though resonant, didn't overshadow Leavitt's victory. Conservatives struck back on X, calling the post dodging Obama's too scared to face Karoline's truth. One account wrote, "Thanking Jaime, he should thank Hollywood instead." Karoline. Wins continued to dominate, and Obama's post was seen as a late attempt to prop up Fox. Meanwhile, Donald Trump tweeted from his personal account, "Karoline Leavitt crushed Jamie Foxx on TV. She's a megastar." The tweet drew thousands of retweets from conservative fans with comments like, "Trump's right, Karoline's a warrior." The post heated up discourse with conservative outlets like Breitbart running headlines. "Trump praises Leavitt for tearing Fox apart. Progressives mocked." Trump's tone, posting memes about MAGA fanaticism, but it didn't dent Leavitt's appeal. She became a conservative icon hailed by fans as the hero who took down Hollywood. After the clash with Jaime, Leavitt appeared at a White House press briefing standing at the presidential podium, voice confident on the hot seat asterisk. "I spoke the truth about Obama's failures and Americans saw it. Jaime Foxx can rap on SNL, but he can't hide the truth." Online viewers applauded, commenting Karoline's Hollywood's nightmare, she continued. "Americans want leaders like Trump, not those who left debt like Obama." The remarks live. Streamed on Fox News, drew millions of views. A reporter asked, "Do you have specific data on Obama-era debt?" Leavitt replied, "Ask Americans. They feel Obama's failure every day." Though vague, the response energized conservative fans with Karoline. Wins exploding, progressives criticized. Leavitt dodged the question like Trump, but their voices were drowned out by her wave of support. A blogger posted on Medium analyzing Leavitt's exaggerated debt claims on the hot seat asterisk. The piece spread on Reddit, with Fox's fans sharing Karoline faked data to win. But the information quickly faded. Conservative accounts countered, "Exaggerated or not, Leavitt nailed Obama." And Newsmax ran an interview with an economist vaguely backing Leavitt's claims, burying the Medium post. An X-House user wrote, "Leavitt won because she said what Americans feel no data needed. Support for Leavitt overwhelmed attempts to debunk her." Reactions from others further highlighted Leavitt's victory stars, like Issa Rae shared Fox's SNL clip writing, "Jamie, you're still number one." But they avoided mentioning Leavitt, tacitly admitting her strength. Conversely, conservative politicians like Ted Cruz posted on X, "Karoline Leavitt is MAGA's future, crushing Fox is just the start." Trump supporting groups in Georgia held events waving banners. "Karoline Hollywood Slayer," one fan said. "She spoke for us. Obama and Fox don't stand a chance." Leavitt's victory became a springboard for the Trump administration. The media storm from the hot seat asterisk finally settled, leaving Karoline Leavitt as a triumphant icon hailed as the MAGA queen. Karoline wins lingered on Twitter with clips of her mocking, "Jaime Foxx, you're done." Jamie, "Sit down," replayed endlessly on TikTok. Fox's Saturday Night Live, comeback. Though viral couldn't erase the image of Leavitt raising her hand in victory posts from Barack Obama, and Trump's tweet further solidified Leavitt's stature. While Fox, despite progressive fans' love, couldn't escape the shadow of defeat, the saga became a cultural moment underscoring the power of MAGA's attack tactics. Leavitt, now a conservative star, was invited to events from Ohio to Florida, where crowds chanted her name. MAGA strategists used her image in ads with the slogan, "Karoline the Voice of Truth." A fan wrote on X, "Leavitt took down Hollywood, MAGA's unstoppable." She didn't mention Fox again, letting her victory speak for itself. Her role as White House press secretary grew stronger, seen as Trump's ace. The story of the the hot Seat asterisk clash between Karoline Leavitt and Jamie Foxx deeply reflects the political polarization and media's power in today's America. In the context of Trump's second term, Leavitt embodies MAGA's aggressive debate style using vague accusations about Barack Obama and big tech like puppeteer or selling out America to rile up conservative audiences. She controlled the crowd by interrupting Foxx, mocking him as an actor who knows nothing, and leveraging hashtags like Marcy Karoline wins to spread her victory. Conversely, Foxx, despite his comedic talent with Trump, impressions on asterisk Jimmy Kimmel, live asterisk and his SNL rap, let emotions override reason, losing ground to Leavitt. This polarization, with Twitter and TikTok exploding with memes and videos plus reactions from Obama and Trump, shows how media amplifies conflict, turning a debate into a cultural moment. The takeaway is that in a polarized America, controlling emotions and media tactics is key to persuasion. Leavitt won. Not because her claims were accurate, but because she stayed calm, used jabs like, "You're done, Jaime," to rattle Foxx, and rallied the conservative crowd. Foxx, though armed with points about Obama's legacy, failed by getting angry and not offering specific counter-data to apply this in life when debating politics or sensitive issues from social media. To the dinner table. Learn from Leavitt, stay confident. Avoid being swayed by emotions like Foxx, instead of just reacting. Prepare sharp arguments and understand crowd reactions as Leavitt did with #Karoline wins. In the media age, words and images spread fast. So choose smart communication to persuade, not get swept up in an emotional storm. Subscribe to the channel to catch fiery showdowns like Karoline Leavitt versus Jamie Foxx. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.